Hello, clever engineers. Today, we're going to talk about how to keep any item that's in long-term storage, like an emergency kit, car kit, or anywhere else where it needs to be clean, contaminant-free, rust-free, and moisture-free, so that when you need to use it, it's going to work the way you expect it to and the way you need it to. There are a few different ways to do this. One way is a rigid container with a gasket, which can range in size from a little pill cylinder to a waterproof match cylinder to a Pelican-style case. The only issue with that is it's not going to be very flexible, both literally and figuratively. Another option is to use a zip-top bag or a pouch with a zipper. Now, you can get an upgraded version of the pouch, which has sealed seams and a sealed zipper. Unfortunately, even if you put a packet of silica gel inside, like this, you're not creating a true hermetic, airtight, or watertight seal. You're definitely getting some protection. You're getting a lot of benefit when it comes to organizing your stuff, but moisture will still get in, especially if the item is stored for a long period of time, so you are not going to be able to depend on it. So the solution that I chose is a food saver. This way, you can make the exact size packets that you need with no wasted space, and the seal will be rock solid for years and years. This will work with all sorts of things, including some that you might not expect, like liquids and gels. Also, it can make your zip-top bags extra organized by making them the exact size that you need for the items that you're putting inside. And I'm going to demonstrate that. So let's get into it. First, we are going to make a little packet of ibuprofen tablets. So you can get these pre-sealed, and each of them has one dose, which is 2 tablets. However, you have a whole bunch of these disclaimers. Now, in less than half the space, we are going to make a 2-dose packet of 4 tablets. It's not going to have any disclaimers, but if you need some pain relief, disclaimers aren't going to help you, but the tablets will. Obviously, you're breaking the seal when you take the first dose, but you'll take the second dose 4 hours later, so that's completely acceptable. So let's show you how that's done. So first thing we need to do is we need to make the bottom of our packet. So we have this continuous roll, and you can see that it is sealed on both sides. So we need to make a top and a bottom. So the way we're going to do that, so this is where the heating element is, this rubber strip. We're just going to put this on the strip and close. And you're going to, each of these, this is a NutriChef brand. They're all going to work in a similar way, but the closures might be a little bit different on yours. But anyway, we're just going to press seal. When the light turns off, the seal has been made. So there, the light is off. So we're going to open this, and you can see we have this perfect seal, and it's quite large. This is actually something that is not going to ever come apart. And as good as these types of bags are, they do not have a true seal like this, and that's why they can't be, this is a lot thicker than the average plastic bag, but it's still not going to be something that you can depend on to keep moisture and contaminants out. So now that we made the top of our bag, we're going to roughly try to figure out how wide this needs to be. So we're going to, maybe make it something like this. So you can see that this rubber seal, or rubber strip rather, is here. So that's going to be the size of our bag. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, and going to, we want to try not to angle this when we do it, so that way, our bag isn't going to be all cockeyed. The seal has been made. Perfect. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, you messed up. How are you going to get your stuff in, because you've got the seals on both sides, on the top and bottom? So there's no way to put anything in the bag. Well, we are going to first trim this. So we have our fully sealed bag on all four sides. And then we are just going to cut one of the sides. And that is how we are going to put things in. So we have our 4 tablets, and just want to open this a little bit. And you can see they are going to just slide in through the opening. So now we have our packet. Now I'm putting them down a very long distance. We're going to move them back up as soon as we make this seal right here. And now we're just going to slide these back up. Now you can see, look how nice that is coming along. Now, this particular food saver, and I believe most of them are going to have a similar design, so you can actually tuck this into a gap, so you can actually close it while it's sticking out of the back. So we're going to just put this back basically as far as it goes, and you can see once again that we just want to rest it on that little rubber heating strip. And we still want to be able to close it, which you did hear that click, so we know it's closed. So once again, we're going to make the seal. And there we go. Now, you can see, I'm just going to trim this, but we have a perfect, hermetically airtight, watertight, contaminant-tight packet that you can put in long-term storage, and nothing is going to get into it. So this is something that I think really is a great idea, to be able to take all of this, right? This contains all of this in such a small amount of space. And then what I do is I just use a little Sharpie and I write the expiration date. These are generally going to be good for a couple of years past the expiration date, but you know, you want to know what you have, and I just wrote here ibuprofen. So I'm going to do the same thing off camera on this one. You can see I actually got this to be even smaller than this. Like, this is probably, I don't know, a quarter of the space of one of these. So it's literally 1/8 the space of these. So that just shows you how effective of a method this is. So we're going to basically just repeat exactly what we did, and we're going to take some of these Stormproof matches, right? Now, of course, you have this whole container with the rubber gasket, and you know, you got a bunch of matches in there. But if you compare how much space, how rigid this is, this is good to have in, you know, a big bug out bag, which is exactly where this lives. But if you're trying to carry matches somewhere else, you have a smaller container, car emergency kit, things like that, there's no reason to carry something like that rigid container. So I've got this opening, and we are just going to put these in. And you can see we've got 4 matches perfectly positioned, and we're going to do exactly what we did before. Just going to put this on that rubber heating strip, press seal, wait for the light to turn off, and the seal has been made. So now we're going to just slide these down to the bottom, and boom, we have our completely airtight, watertight packet of matches that is going to be completely impervious to the elements. Now, we're going to make another one. I'm not going to do this on camera with Tinder and the Striker. Even though there's no air in there, just to be extra safe, we want to keep them separate so there's no risk of any sort of sparks in case somehow this gets physically damaged and the seal gets broken. So the process is the same as the matches, so I'm not going to show you that. Instead, I'm actually going to show you how to shorten this type of bag and basically make it a lot smaller and still fit all of these different items. Of course, if you don't have one already, you're going to put all your items inside, and then you're going to push them up to where the closure is. And then you're going to take a marker You're just going to mark where you need to seal. Now, because we already have this pre-made, I'm just going to line this up, and I'm just going to make the mark right here on the new bag. So all we need to do now is we're going to just take this mark, put it again in the middle of the heating element, like with everything else, close the lid. We also, we want to use these dots to our advantage, because that way you know that it's lined up, you know that it's not going to be cockeyed when you make your seal. So I'm just going to make the seal, and the seal has been made. We take this off. Sometimes with these thinner plastics, you have to wait a few seconds for the plastic to cool. And then we will just cut, like with everything else. And we have our perfectly made seal. Now, of course, because this is a much thinner plastic, this is going to be as good of a seal as the bag came with in the first place. So we're really using this not for a true air and water resistance, but for organizational purposes. And then the last step is we are going to take this, and of course, you have a lot of room to open and close it here, but in order to save space, we are going to give that up and just make this, we're still going to leave a little bit, like maybe 2 millimeters here, which is still going to allow you to open and close it, reuse it, and so on and so forth, but you're now saving all of this space. So this way, we have this nice bag that you can use. So you can see that this is absolutely the same as this. It's going to fit all the exact same items, and it's going to be reclosable, reusable, and so on. But it's going to also be much, much smaller than the original bag was. So we're really getting all of these organizational benefits in a much smaller space. So this can work with so many different things. One thing I consider especially valuable is how I can make these tiny first aid bags that I just keep in all sorts of places. So I described the bags in a lot more detail in my EDC Pouch video, which I'm going to link to. And they wouldn't be nearly this compact without the food saver. Now, I don't think this technically counts as an IFAC, but it will definitely help in a pinch. I also add a bunch of these packets, like cough gels, caffeine tablets. So I add packets like this to a real IFAC, and it's not going to take up any more space because it'll fit into the case very, very easily. So the last thing I wanted to mention is, like most food savers, this has a vacuum function. It's not an oversight that I didn't use it. It's just that these packets are too small for it to work. So this isn't an issue. Our goal is not to get all the air out. It's to prevent moisture and contaminants from getting in. And that goal is definitely achieved here. That about does it. I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Please like and subscribe. Clever Engineer out.